It's the Friday 8 o'clock buzz. I'm Andy Moore. Mexican-American author, filmmaker, and youth literacy activist E.E. Charlton-Trujillo has written several award-winning books for teens and children, most notably, as many Parent Guardian listeners know, the Fat Angie series, an ALA Stonewall Award winner. They also wrote Prize Fighter in Mi Casa, a Parent's Choice Silver Honor winner. Their first picture book, Lupe Lopez, Rock Star Rules, is co-authored with New York Times bestselling author Pat Zietlow Miller and illustrated by award-winning illustrator Joe Cepeda. Lupe Lopez releases in June 2022, and I was happy to plan to talk with both writers, but as live radio will go, we've got both writers now. That's great. I wasn't going to invoke Friday the 13th. I almost did. I guess I did then, didn't I? But we have the co-authors with us, both of them on the line. I'm so happy to welcome them to the program. Pat Zietlow Miller, a Madisonian, joins us by phone from Madison. E.E. Charlton-Trujillo, a former Madison resident, is in their home in Texas. And welcome to you both.
Hi. Thanks so much.
E.E., tell us about the force of nature. Who was the kindergarten drummer, Lupe Lopez?
Yeah, that was definitely me. You know, growing up in Texas, a little small town in the middle of nowhere, just a blink off the highway. And I was a little bit larger than life. And I showed up to kindergarten with my classic metal lunchbox and with the Kiss band. I was the only kid with Kiss, everyone else with Holly Hobby. And so at that point, you know, I showed up with the lunchbox and the belt buckle and the necklace and the whole thing and was convinced I was going to be the drummer for Kiss. And of course, that didn't really go well for my teachers. But you learn from these experiences and you grow from them. So yeah.
It didn't go well for Lupe at first either. We'll get to that in a moment. But Pat, Lupe can drum on anything. That's good and bad. Desk, tables, chairs, her lunchbox. When I read the story, which is just lovely, I believed that all of that drumming on anything symbolizes her adaptability. But the administration at Garcia Elementary doesn't much like Lupe's drumming, do they?
No. She thinks she's expressing, you know, her inner self and, you know, being a star and entertaining people. And they see her as being, you know, disruptive because she's not, you know, sitting down and being quiet like all the other first graders are, you know.
There are dueling realities in the story. One is a rock star rules, and the other is a rock star, an artist, a free-thinking child encounters rules, right?
Yes, and
exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, how can I be myself and still, you know, fit into this place I have to fit into? So it's sort of a balance thing.
What about that balance, E.E.?
We have that balance through our whole lives, and we started very young. And, you know, the sense of identity and how do you maintain that identity, especially when it is, you know, in conflict sometimes with the classroom or with our jobs or, you know, I think that with Lupe, she's having her first head-on experience with realizing that, you know, you can still be who you are, but you also have to respect some space of other folks too.
I'll stay with you, E. Identity is preyed upon, for want of a better word, by adaptability. At one point in the story, when Lupe contends with this weight of disapproval, they even banned her lunchbox. She sits meekly with her head down on the desk, but she can't help but just gently tap her finger on her desk. She can't hold back. She has that inner fire. Tell us more about Lupe's origin and where she came from and vis-a-vis your experience.
It is loosely based on my childhood, but I think the origins of Lupe really emerges from that one, you know, we have Lupe Lopez as a character who is, you know, Mexican-American. And when I was growing up, there weren't a lot of books that were modeling that experience of being a confident, bold, you know, successful, spirited child who was also brown. And so I think it's important that, you know, that when we came to this story is that we wanted to show that kid as that person and to show young people that you know, whether you're white or brown or black or Asian, that we need to celebrate that sort of, you know, inner strength, and the origins really came from partly the experiences of childhood and sort of the rambunctiousness of me. And then, of course, Pat comes in and she brings her nuance with her, deft hand so that we can write a character that's someone that maybe we can hold up the way we hold up other books, that we celebrate that often are white-centered.
I'm talking with E.E. Charlton-Trujillo. They join us from Texas, and Pat Zietlow Miller, who's in Madison. They're the co-authors of Lupe Lopez, Rockstar Rules, a new children's book that'll be out next month. Pat, can we give away the ending? Lupe, after having the worst time in Garcia Elementary School history, is redeemed in a surprising way. Share the sort of the redemption and what that's about.
Well, sure. So, Lupe's, she drums, and then all of her favorite things kind of get taken away, and she tries to fit in, but just is miserable. So then she's got to figure out a way to still be herself. And she thinks that she's a solo act, she's a rock star, and then she discovers that maybe having friends isn't a bad idea. And she meets two girls, and initially she says, "Oh, you want to be my fans?" And they're like, "No, we want to be in a band." And so start a band and end up making amazing music. And I just want to go back a little bit to what you said too, is that I think what makes a picture book a really good picture book is when anybody can read it, and even if you're not exactly like that character, you can see their humanity and you can see yourself in them. So I've never lived in Texas. I've never been a drummer. I'm not a huge Kiss fan, but I can see Lupe's humanity. And I think anybody who reads the story will be able to see that too and appreciate, who she is and what she brings.
There's a lot of ways that we celebrate this in young people. And the idea that whether you want to be a drummer or you want to be an engineer or you want to work in an insurance company or you want to be a radio host or you want to be someone else, is that idea is the channel harness that part of you that makes you happy, that makes you feel like you are your own rock star. And I think that's really important to us.
It's almost like you zipped ahead to another question that I had on my mind. And if you have something, that's awesome. Maybe there's more on this to be spoken to, but not all children want to become rock stars and make sweet noise,
Exactly.
What is the lesson of Lupe Lopez for a child who is an introvert?
Well, I was a huge introvert, extremely timid. I just sort of sat in a corner and got in trouble because I didn't drink my milk fast enough at snack time.
Which is its own horror. God, holy. Did you go to a parochial school?
No, it was a public school. They even called my mom because I wasn't drinking my milk fast enough. So I think the lesson for introverted kids is, who are you? Be who you are. Because I was like, trying so hard to do the right thing. And then it was kind of like, I'm just not drinking milk at all. And my mom backed me up. And so, you got to find your small victories to win.
Oh, my.
I can't believe you just said you weren't drinking milk in Wisconsin.
I drank it at home, but my mom didn't yell at me.
She's out of here. The illustrations are wonderful. Tell us about the art, Pat.
Joe Cepeda did the art, and he's done art for, a lot of other really awesome books. And, I know I haven't spoken with him, but I know from going back and forth with our team at Candlewick that he based Lupe on his mom, which I thought was a great thing, in terms of how she looked and how she acted. And I know he is also a drummer. I've seen pictures of the studio, and he has drums there. So I think he was a great person to bring Lupe and her friends to life.
I'm talking with E.E. Charlton-Trujillo and Pat Zietlow Miller, co-authors of Lupe Lopez, Rockstar Rules, a new children's storybook that's coming out in June. I'm going to ask you to look into the future, and this is for you, E.E. What is your hope for Lupe as she goes on to middle school and high school?
Well, first he's going to have to go into the sequel, and that'll be first grade. So first we have to accomplish that. But, as she goes forward, I think my hope is for Lupe and girls and boys and all the kids that are like Lupe, the hope is to not lose who you are along the way. And it sounds like kind of hokey and old school, but really and truly, we get so mired down with all of the things that seem to be around us and push us into boxes that don't feel like ourselves. And I think Lupe is, emblematic of that part of us that wants to break free, that wants to be who we really are. I would love to see Lupe continue to be her rock star self. I'd like for her to play with Foo Fighters and drum with them. But yeah,
you got it figured out.
I know. I mean, but yeah, I just want her, and I want all the young people to really feel like when they read this book, they can carry it in their hearts and feel like I'm worthy. I'm a great person, and I deserve to be here.
Collaboration is tricky, and I was thinking about this while I was reading it. What's the secret to making co-authorship work? And I'm really hoping you'll both speak at the same time for this answer.
This was hard for both of us. You have to, because as a writer, we'd all written our own stuff, and when you write your own stuff, if you like it, it's done, right? Well, here, you've got to have you both like it. So there's a lot of back and forth. But I like that part. But I think this would work better. But I really like that part. And so it's communication and trusting each other and the strengths that you bring until you eventually come up with something that's better than you could have done individually.
What she said. All of that. That's exactly what it is. That's it. That's what it is. It's trust. It comes down to trusting the other person that you're working with and knowing at the end of the day, we both want to write the best possible book we can. It's been a success, and I can't wait. We have 3 more books in the pipeline, and we'll see what comes next.
Oh, well, we'll be watching, and we'll be in great anticipation for Lupe to meet the world in June. I'm happy I got to a sneak peek and got to read it. And Pat and E, thank you so much for appearing on the Friday Buzz, and good luck with the book.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks so much.
You bet. The book is Lupe Lopez, Rockstar Rules. Co-author E. Charlton-Trujillo is the co-founder of the nonprofit Never Counted Out that supports access to books and creative mentorship to at-risk youth. And they're the co-host of the Instagram Live series, Off the Cuff. Co-author Pat Zietlow Miller is a New York Times bestselling author who lives in Madison. It's the Friday 8 o'clock Buzz. I'm Andy Moore. I'll be back in a minute to wrap things up.